Welcome to Steve's Kitchen, where cooking lean is supreme. And this is part 2 of my lean cooking homemade chicken wild rice soup. Perfect for the fall. And now I've been preheating my George Foreman grill here, and I'm going to turn after a couple of hours my slow cooker down to low from high. So we've now pre-cooked or pre-simmered, if you will, the carrots and the celery and onion, so now they won't be crunchy. And then now we're going to just simmer this thing the rest of the way for another 4 hours, I would say minimum. You could go as long as 8 if you like. But we're going to pre-cook our chicken, and I would say a good 4 or 5 hours is perfect. So any more and you're going to start overcooking the chicken, and that's the whole purpose of doing the chicken later. You don't want to put it in right away unless you weren't grilling it, then you would be stewing it. And so my grill is hot. We're going to grab our chicken that we seasoned before with salt, pepper, and chipotle barbecue spice, and we're just going to put this on the grill as best we can. And we may have to do each breast separately, I think, here. We might be able to squeak a fourth one on here. And so they take about, I would say, 6 minutes. And so in the meantime, we can add our other ingredients here. And so we're going to take our lid off our slow cooker. We're going to take our pan of cream of celery soup, and we're going to add the contents of that. Gotta get that every last drop out of there. We can probably grab a spoon here, make sure we got it all. And so I don't know how clear, because I don't have a cameraman to move the camera for me, if you're even seeing this as clearly as I would like, but you get the idea. We're emptying the cream of celery soup. And see, this cuts your fat way down. If you used heavy whipping cream, like most people would do, you have a high fat content. You'd be talking maybe 17 grams per serving of soup, where with this, we're talking 6 grams per serving, and there's 2.5, but this is going to be divided into about 12 cups easily. So our fat grams are going to be less than 5 grams total with everything in here, if that even, I would estimate. So you've got a really lean, creamy style soup, but without the cream. You're substituting cream of celery soup. And what I recommend, and this is something that I did not mention in part 1, but I'm mentioning it now, is you add some skim milk. Now again, we're reducing fat by cooking lean. So that way you won't have heart problems, you'll have more energy, and you won't gain weight or have trouble maintaining it. And so all I'm doing is filling up the can. It's a 10.5 ounce can with skim milk, and I'm going to add that as well. And so, with that being said, then we can open our package of wild rice. Now, with this, I'm not sure how much of this I'm going to use. I may only use half, I may use the whole thing. I'm going to pour some out and see what happens here. So we're going to empty about half the contents out and stir it, and then pour the remaining contents in. So this is, trying to see how many ounces this is. It's an 8 ounce package, and it's basically solid wild rice. I'm not seeing any white rice in there. Let's try to get things on the side of the pack out of here. And then we just stir that in gently. And then we'll be stirring in the chicken. Now it's about time to check on the chicken because it's been going a few minutes. And I think what I'm going to try to do is this one on the end, we're going to rotate this around here. Try to make some room here, maybe rotate all of these. I don't have my flipper cracked, so all I got is this. The remaining part of the flipper. And my grill, the nose stick is worn off, so all we're doing is just rotating 90 degrees the chicken here, and we're trying to get the one end piece nice and cooked. I'm not sure how well you see this here. Maybe I can move things over here a little bit. Not a knife block here. Right here. Okay, and so I figure it's got about another 2 minutes. And so then we'll do the second breast here as well. And in the meantime, we can clean up. And the thing about cooking lean is you're promoting better heart health, and you're going to live longer that way, and you're going to have more vitality by cooking lean. So by substituting heavy whipping cream with cream of celery soup and skim milk, you still get that creamy soup with the appearance and flavors, but it just doesn't have the fat. And the key is to try to eliminate as much fat as possible. And so with that being said, we're going to check on our meat here. I think we're going to need just another minute or so at the most. I think we can check on one of these here. It's just a little pink yet. So we'll flip that over. It's been about 5 or 6 minutes, so we're almost there. And so this is kind of fun because it feels good to create your own food versus, buying fast food or having somebody else do it, because you have that personal connection with the food that you make and eat. And the only thing that's even better than that is if you grew it yourself. If you had your own organic farm and you grew your own fruits and vegetables and greens or herbs, things like that, and then you cooked them, that would be amazing. But most people don't have that luxury of living or owning on or near an organic farm, and so we just do the best we can with what we got. And so I think we can pull these, and we're going to put the last remaining strips that we did here on the grill, and we're going to make sure these are just cooked through and that's it, because we don't want to overcook them so they're tough. And so we're going to take, we'll move this aside, we'll bring this so maybe it's a little more visible. We've probably got a little over a pound here. The total chicken is 1.5 pounds. And so that's 6 meat servings. You'll probably get 10, 12 soup servings there. And so all you want to do is just make sure, now these may be a little, this one's a little pink. Yeah, this is okay. And so it may fall apart more, but you want to cut up little like 1-inch pieces. And this one, I think we're good. Just the tiniest bit of pink. See, what will happen is if it needs to have any remaining cooking time, it'll get there because that's, probably 140 degrees in the crock pot. Yeah, just one of them was just a hair pink, and it was so minute that it'll finish cooking. I'm not worried about the safety of it. Normally you bring your chicken up 160, 65, but it'll get there in the remaining cooking. And so you could have stewed this, you could do it either way, but I do like the grill flavor. Okay, so you see you've got a big pound plate, roughly, of nice chopped up chicken. And by now we're probably halfway cooked just about, with the remaining half pound roughly. And so you see how from your own home you can do restaurant quality type stuff if you just take the time to do it and make the effort. And that's the beauty of it. Yeah, what I found is I used to dine out like 6 nights a week for like maybe 14 years. And I would go only to places that had scratch-made, rotating type menus that changed daily, weekly, monthly, typically with the specials. So I'd always have something different. And nowadays, the dining scene has changed. They're taking things you normally wouldn't eat or normally wouldn't be offered, and they're elevating them, and they're really charging you a deep price for a lot of things. Like, for example, if you were going to go and spend for an a la carte entree $30 for some sort of a steak, wouldn't you rather have, like if you're going to have, say, lamb or venison, wouldn't you rather have the tenderloin than the sirloin? With, say, a cherry sauce, a little Merlot maybe, or mushrooms. Does that sound great? But what they give you is they'll give you the lowest cut meat and then try to elevate it. And that's been the trend in the last decade, and I'm just appalled by this because I would rather have really great food done right. And you just can't get that. So it forced me into learning how to do things on my own that were lean and restaurant quality without the butter, cream, oil, and what have you. And the thing is by not being afraid to experiment, to always being open-minded, you live and learn, and you come up with some great things. Like, for example, how many of you like salsa? I just love salsa. And so I make all these different kinds of salsas. I make cherry salsa, I make heirloom tomato salsa, I make peach salsa, I make apple salsa or relish, depending on how you want to look at it, pear, all these different things. And it's really easy to do, and it gives your protein serving, whether it be maybe pork, chicken, or some type of fish or seafood, amazing. I mean, because it's just, you have all these flavors with very little effort, and that's the beauty about making something like a really great salsa or a really great relish or a really great soup, is that you remember it and you'll want to replicate it again and again. And that's why I'm here, is I love in November, December, homemade wild rice chicken soup. And so here we are in Steve's kitchen, where again, cooking lean is supreme. And we're almost done here with our chicken. We just want to make sure that it's not pink. You can usually use a knife, and if it goes all the way through trouble-free, it's usually done. This part isn't quite done yet. So another minute or so on this and we should be fine. In the meantime, we'll put the lid on till we're ready. And it's just a lot of fun to be able to share with you something that I enjoy, you know, because that's what being abundant is all about, and that's what we celebrate with Thanksgiving, is abundance. Basically, think of how unique this was. You had the native people and the pilgrims coming together, and when they came together, they broke bread and they shared the abundance of the harvest. And by doing that, they became closer and were able to work with each other rather than being at odds and fighting with each other. And that's a lesson we could probably take with current times. Rather than having this divisiveness, we could have collaboration. And collaboration comes from having high openness and high empathy and high level thinking. And so if you have all three of those things, you're going to love having great food, great music, great company. And so that's why I'm here, to share some of the things that I enjoy most with you, the viewing audience, whether it be on cable access or on YouTube, which is what I'm kind of gearing this format for, is I do not have an editing machine or a camera crew to work with. So I'm this disabled man with 45 disabilities, injuries, and irreversible medical conditions. And here I am, rather than being in a nursing home or a mental institution, I'm sitting here sharing with you some of the most abundance that I possibly could. And that's really what Thanksgiving is all about. And so we're the day before Thanksgiving. We're going to have a real traditional Midwest fare, if you will, with the wild rice chicken soup. And so now we're going to see how our chicken is doing here. I have a feeling that we're going to be pretty good here. And we can cut this and add this to our pot of soup here. And what will happen is, you know, this will break down a little bit. These pieces will, some of them will fall apart a bit and become smaller. And so my idea is just to cut little strips and, you know, end up with little 1-inch pieces, roughly. But see, this grill, this charring in that gives the soup such amazing flavor. And that's why we're grilling. You could stew it, and if that's what you want to do, if you have to go to work, you could start this at 8 o'clock in the morning, go to work by 9, come home at 6, and you know, you would have this amazing soup, and you could do it all at once rather than dividing it up by pre-cooking the vegetables. But the key then is, if you're doing everything together, you put it on high for an hour and then turn it down and let it simmer. Where in this case, I cooked it for about 2.5 hours on high and then added the chicken, the cream of celery, and the wild rice soup. And that way, I'm assured that none of my celery or anything is going to be crunchy, and I'm getting this extra grill flavor. And then I used a dry rub. I mean, you don't have to do that, but you could just use the salt and the pepper and maybe a little bit of
thyme and maybe a little cumin or a little bit of paprika, whatever you prefer, cilantro even, and tarragon even, whatever you feel that you would enjoy, you just modify it to your own liking that way when it comes to the grill flavor. So you could just use salt, pepper, and dried tarragon on this and it'd be great. You could use salt, pepper, and some paprika, and it would be amazing. And the key is just to coarsely chop this up in little like 1-inch type pieces, so you end up having an amazing chicken chunky soup, and you're just going to love it when this is done. I know I do. And if you don't, well, you learn something then. You learn that wild rice soup isn't your thing. You know, that maybe you could try something else down the road. Because cooking lean really is supreme, and that's why I say that, because like I said, I've maintained my weight in a reasonable range, minus the edema I'm suffering from now, for 31 years. And so, you know, that speaks for itself. You know, I was obese for 20 years, and then I've been lean for 31. And, you know, that, you know, speaks volumes, because it says that my techniques work. They're proven. And because I have some medical issues which cause me to have troubles breaking down fat, I've had to learn to adapt. But you could lose and manage weight and manage your heart, and increase your energy and everything just by doing these lean cooking recipes that I share with you. And so we've added the full 1.5 pounds of grilled chicken now. We just couldn't cook all of it on the tiny George Foreman grill. I don't recommend the larger grill. And the reason why is because of the fact that it doesn't have the serrades on it, so it doesn't make those nice grill marks. And that's the whole reason why you would use that. Otherwise, why bother? You could use a grill pan. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this simmer on low for a minimum of 4 hours. And again, if you're one of these people that prepare this in the morning and do not grill it, and you just decide to have it stew in there, you could leave this for 9 hours on low, but I would recommend that you run it on high for the first hour to try to break down the vegetables. And if you do that, oh my God, you're going to have the greatest wild rice soup that doesn't have the fat. Now, you may have had other wild rice soups, but they've probably got 17 to 25 grams of fat with the heavy whipping cream. And so that defeats the purpose of cooking lean. Cooking lean gives you more energy, preserves your heart, and it helps you maintain or lose weight. And it just all around makes me feel great. And so with that, I invite you to come and enjoy part 3 with me of our Steve's Kitchen cooking series here today, where we will actually taste the soup and try it in front of you. And so until next time, hope to see you soon, and please give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more videos, please check the little bell or star in the corner if you're seeing me on YouTube. And if you're seeing me on cable access, until next time, you have a great day.